everyone. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone is doing well today. I am doing well. I have a message that I channeled that I'd like to share. This message is about fear. Love is the highest frequency that we can exist in. Fear and hate are the lowest frequencies you can exist in. This construct, matrix, reality, whatever you choose to call it, has existed based on fear. That is how this construct has existed for so long until now. Fear is what keeps souls trapped and never knowing true freedom. You see, the systems, the programming is all based on fear. Think about it. Let's take the news. All news is based on fear. It tells us we should basically stay in the state of fear. Every once in a while, the news will give you a glimpse of a story that's positive. But in general, the news is a machine meant to deliver narratives to keep people in fear. Example, remember COVID? Remember when COVID was talked about on the news, so much so that they started putting numbers up of people who have died from COVID? You may say to yourself, they did that to keep you informed. But no, when you understand that media, the news, is fear-based, it was done to keep you in fear. If you ask yourself, what would be the purpose of them showing you how many people that have died from COVID? You're sitting there watching numbers rise, showing you people dying. What other reason would they show it? Then, and like I said, they may say it was to inform you, but no, it was to scare you, to have you in fear. Not only that, think about this. When we're in fear, we do not think clearly. We go into survival mode. Hence comes vaccinations. You know, the shot that they told us that we should take, even though they didn't even know what was in the shot. They didn't know how it would affect your body. They didn't know how it would interact with the medications that you are on, if you were on medications. Or they didn't even know the side effects. I say that to say, but even in that, but because they had us in fear, we weren't thinking rationally. It was like, I'm going to take the shot even though I know, or I don't know how it would affect me. But I'm going to take it anyway because they're telling me I should. Not because it's going to stop me from getting COVID, because guess what? There were a whole lot of people that took the shot that still contracted COVID after they took the shot. You see what I'm saying? There were even nurses and doctors, people in the medical field, who said, don't take the shot. These are people in the medical field. Why would they tell us not to take it? Well, guess what? One thing could be is that it was a farce. Think about this, and I've said this before. This system is a machine, and in order for this machine to keep existing, the machine exists on the fuel. What is the fuel? The fuel is the fear. We have to keep humanity in fear for this machine to keep going. Think about this. And so that being the case, think about all the lives that were lost because the system wants to control humanity through fear. And even if we go a little deeper, think about when you were working, and how they were like, okay, if you work this particular job, then you're gonna have to take the shot, or you're gonna lose your job. Fear. The fear of losing everything you have, your income, your stability, your security, your retirement. When you think about it, and someone tells you, well, if you don't take this shot, you're gonna lose all of that. Well, then most people, not all, but most people are gonna take the shot, even though they don't want to. But then think about it, you gotta weigh the options. Either I take the shot, and I don't know how it's gonna affect me, I'll take the chance, versus me not taking the shot and losing everything that I have. You know what I'm saying? It's like losing every material thing you have, or losing your life, you know. But when you think about it, or when I think about it, when you think about companies that actually upheld this, and they told their employees, you're gonna have to get the shot or you're gonna lose your job. Some employees did do that, but there are a lot of employees that did not do it, even though they were told that they were supposed to. You think about it, you got a company, got 500 employees, 200 of them took the shot, but the other ones didn't. Why? Because after a while, they stopped talking about it. It wasn't a big deal anymore. I guarantee you cannot tell me a company where every single employee took the shot because it was mandatory. Because it didn't happen. And I know at the time I was at UPS, and it was in the air, but it never happened. And how they would say, well, you know, in order to enter a certain place, you got to have on a mask. At first, everybody was wearing a mask. They still had these signs on the doors, but guess what? Some people came in, different businesses with masks on, and some people didn't. So you would think to yourself, if it's this big of a deal, then they would enforce it to where everyone would be wearing a mask when they entered certain buildings. But it was not like that. Because after a while, it died down. But then you got to ask yourself, how did it die down? Did it die down because COVID no longer existed anymore? Or did it die down because nobody was talking about it anymore? Or nobody was thinking about it anymore? It's just like all of a sudden, the news stopped talking about it. And it's like, after the news stopped talking about it, then slowly, people stopped talking about it. It started being minute. It wasn't a big deal anymore. And right now, there are still people who wear masks. And I'm not saying it's for COVID. Maybe it's for some other reason. But I just feel like that fear that was placed upon us, for some is still there. But fear begets more fear. And that is why when something happens and people become fearful of it, it spreads like a disease. When you come to the realization that you are a limitless being, immortal being, fear has no hold on you because you are not in the frequency of fear. You are in the frequency of love. And it is not a coincidence that love is the highest frequency. Love makes fear irrelevant. Where there is love, there can be no fear. Systems are in place to create fear. But I say this to you to let you know transformation is here. The new earth is all about love and balance. And fear is rejected. If a system is controlling the masses or has tried to control the masses by using fear-based narratives, you will collapse under the spiritual awakening. The awakening is all about truth, open hearts, peace, etc. The light is illuminating the darkness. The dark systems that have controlled humanity are slowly collapsing, making way for the lights of the world. We are the lights. We are the light. And on a soul level, we knew this was going to happen. Some souls remember, some do not, but the results are the same. The awakening is upon us. And in this awakening, all truth will be realized. And all that is based on fear will be shown to be an illusion. Remember, fear is to make us believe we are limited, but we are limitless. Thank you all. Bye-bye.